All right. So let me flip back. This is Tulsi Gabbard, and she has a new video that is entitled, "Our Troops Are Being Insulted." And I am a troop, or I guess I'm a former troop. I'm not really a troop anymore. So I figured I could watch it and see if I am being insulted. So if I was always this late to work, I get fired. Yeah, so I usually start another video while I'm waiting for the press briefing because they usually take like half an hour, sometimes an hour before they even come out. So let's go ahead and check this video out from Tulsi.
Maybe many of you saw the same headline that I saw this morning. Maybe many of you saw the same headline that I saw this morning that seemed encouraging at first, saying that the Pentagon is finally going to give economic hardship bonuses to our troops, many of whom have been struggling under this economy over the last few years, who've been struggling.
So she's talking about troops not getting enough money. That's how she's going to start this video out. I just want to tell a funny story really quick. So a couple of years ago, lower enlisted troops were dealing with a lot of financial concerns. We didn't have enough money. Inflation was hitting us really hard. They don't pay a lot, right? So there just wasn't enough money to go around. So they're in Congress and they're fighting. They're saying our lower enlisted tier needs money. We got to bump up this pay. We got to do something because they're struggling. They can't afford food, yada, yada, yada. So the result of that was to give all of our lower enlisted a CBT on financial training instead of actually like helping us and paying us any more money. No joke. They gave us computer-based training to make sure that we had financial training. So I know you're not getting paid a lot, but here we can help you budget out your rations that you have now. Maybe you can not eat every other day and that will help your budget. Instead of actually giving us money in the military, they gave us a CBT, computer training. And I still look back at that and just laugh because it's just hilarious. Like, that is typical Congress. Like, we're struggling, help us, we need money. Ooh, best we can do is a class.
Struggling with inflation and an inability to afford even the most basic needs of themselves and their families. Then I read beyond the headline. On military.com, this article says that the Pentagon is finally going to provide these economic hardship bonuses that Congress authorized a year ago. First of all, what took them so long?
Chad says, I'm so glad I separated before that. Yeah, you're very lucky. And these bonuses, we'll see if they actually come out. And there's going to be so many limitations on whatever bonus she's talking about. Like, as a lower enlisted guy, you just can't really depend on the government to help you.
They can rush to quickly find billions of dollars to send to Ukraine, but when it comes to providing real assistance to our troops at a time of economic hardship and need, it takes them a year to actually be able to provide this help.
Tulsi, they never came. They never came. My last few years in the military, they literally... So what they do when it comes to housing, they contract it out to all of these big companies. They took my entire housing allowance, which completely just lowered any money that I was making, which, okay, fine. Then they took our COLA away in one of the worst states ever in Hawaii, took all of that money away. And then it just felt like they made promotion systems harder, which I was doing okay for getting promotions. I'll give them that. Like, I was able to jump ahead of my peers pretty quickly. But it just got down to not really being worth it anymore for all the work that you had to do. And then you would see how these people in Congress really didn't care about you at all. You know, here's your computer-based training. So yeah, I had to dip.
And then it got worse. When you actually look at what these economic hardship bonuses are, turns out it is $20 a month for soldiers ranked E1 to E3. $20 a month. That's about $120 a year.
$20.
It's not going to go very far.
Let's go.
Maybe they can go out to eat for lunch one day at a place that is...
And this is the kind of stuff that I would keep seeing. It's like, oh, Congress is actually going to help us. What are they going to give us? Here's $20. And you're like, what? $20? What am I going to do with $20? And then you find out it's restricted to E1 to E3. It's like, most people in the military don't even qualify for that. E3 is pretty much given to most people. And by the time you hit E4, that's a rank that's also given to you. You've been in like 6 months or so, you're E4. So most people don't even qualify for this 20 bucks.
Kind of moderately priced, maybe just an edge above fast food.
20 bucks at a fast food joint? No. That might get you maybe one meal a month. Thanks, guys.
It gets worse. At the very end of the article,
oh, hold on one second. They're starting, but I'm going to finish this video because it's actually pretty interesting.
It talks about how the White House is opposing, with strong objections, any targeted boost to junior enlisted pay before an administration study on military compensation can be completed.
What?
More bureaucracy, more government studies that if they actually looked at how families are struggling, troops are struggling, if they actually listened and paid attention to what's going on with our military, the challenges that we are seeing with moldy barracks, with infrastructure that needs to be replaced, with the individual hardship that many of our troops are facing. I don't need a study to tell me that. Why would they object to this kind of assistance being put in place?
Chad says 01 to 02 probably got a 300 extra a month. Probably. Yeah. I know what she's talking about with these moldy houses. My last house in the military definitely had a lot of mold. It was decent. I'll give them that. Especially for what we paid being in Hawaii, it was actually pretty nice. But it did have a considerable mold problem that I'm sure was not good for my family or myself's health at all. Meanwhile, yeah, your officers are in these mansions somewhere being tended to.
Nice. This speaks to the larger issue of having leaders who aren't paying attention, who aren't listening, and who ultimately aren't taking action to help those who have volunteered to put their lives on the line in service to our country. Our troops deserve better.